This semester, the Artificial Intelligence Research Team is focusing on creating an automatic speech recognition for dysarthric speech. Dysarthria is a motor speech disorder, and it is normally caused by medical conditions that affect the muscles used to produce speech. Regular automatic speech recognition can't be used by people with dysarthria. We have chosen to follow Project Ophonia by Google and use a recurrent neural network transducer model. A single model can only be tailored to a specific person due to the differences in dysarthric speech and their levels of dysarthria.
In this part, we will be talking about automatic speech recognition for both normal speech and dysarthric speech. Normally, automatic speech recognition is the process of making a machine understand human speech or identify the person speaking. This field of research has been around for many years now and has a broad range of uses. So keep in mind that ASR is normally implemented with native speakers in mind, and although this area has been studied a lot, it can still be further optimized into reliably recognizing spoken words in a realistic acoustic environment.
Dysarthria is caused by nervous system disorders. It differs from normal speech in rhythm, tempo variations, and it can barely be audible and spoken monotonely. This makes it very difficult for a normal automatic speech recognition system to understand it.
In this part, we will be talking about the datasets that we use in our project. For this project, we will be using OJ's speech dataset for the standard speech training phase. This dataset is basically a big collection of short WAV files where a transcription is provided for each file. Later on, the idea is to convert the transcription labels to ASCII, which is why we do the distinction now of the transcriptions that contain non-ASCII characters.
Datasets on dysarthric speech are difficult to come by. We chose the UA speech database because of the data it provides. We will use the waveforms provided to create spectrograms to train our model.
Here we're going to be talking about the different approaches that were used by other researchers. There have been studies on implementing transition interpolation to hidden Markov models to make them bidirectional. This bidirectionality allows them to study the input data sequence from both directions and determine the best possible solution within the structure of the state machine. These systems tend to be more complicated though, and they tend to also be more computationally expensive the larger the data is. Proposed by Google, what they did was first train a model to understand standard speech. Then they fine-tuned with dysarthric speech by freezing some layers and minimizing the learning rate during this training process. This to ensure that only necessary weights are optimized and the optimization is very small. This model is what's considered a personalized model, meaning it only gives the best results with the person that it was made for. This research used the concept of cross-model, which is training a model with more than one type of sensorial input, in our case is text and speech. And they also use the concept of knowledge distillation, that is a type of transfer learning. They first train a text-to-speech model to interpret text into standard speech. Then they use that encoder as a teacher for the knowledge distillation process to train an audio encoder so that they both will interpret their inputs the same way, meaning that even if it was text or if it was dysarthric speech, they both should be able to interpret it the same way. Once the speech encoder was fully trained, it is attached to the previously made decoder in the original model. The end goal here is to have a speech-to-speech model capable of interpreting dysarthric speech into standard speech.
Quick summary. Since the knowledge distillation method showed great results, we will be using this same teacher-student framework for our project with the distinction that we will be modifying it for speech-to-text without the cross-model aspect.
Now we're going to be discussing the solution that we're proposing. First, we develop an automatic speech recognition system for standard speech. The model that we're using is known as a VLSTM autoencoder. Now the autoencoders are models composed of two parts, the encoder and the decoder. Our encoder is a model that uses 2D convolutions to extract important features from the Mel spectrogram, and the decoder takes those extracted features and determines which is the label that should be given to that input. Goal, of course, is that the given label is the expected label, or at least as close as it can be.
For the first stage, we propose to construct a speech-text model with standard speech data. For the second stage, using the principles from the teacher-student framework, we use the encoder from the previous phase as the teacher, then we train the student in dysarthric speech. The last stage will be to concatenate the encoder from the second stage, train in dysarthric data, to the decoder from the first stage, train in standard speech data to make our complete ASR system.
People with dysarthric speech can greatly benefit from an automated speech recognition software because of the nature of this medical condition that affects and damages the muscles for human speech degenerately. Currently, when people with dysarthria try to use common automated speech recognition systems, the resulting recognition these systems give is completely erroneous. Addressing this issue by developing AI models capable of understanding dysarthric speech would allow these people to take advantage of voice-activated command systems, speech transcription, while also allowing them to communicate with others more efficiently.